Hey, society's pressure, parents, teachers, family, people in your life, prioritizing getting a traditional type of job rather than you fulfilling your dreams and what's important to you, really. Hey, welcome to Goose Pond Hideout, and I'm Rod. All right, so, man, I hope you can see me in this sunshine here today. I wanted to stand right out in the sun because it's been a long time since we've had beautiful weather like this. It's humidity's down, and here in the south that's pretty rare, even in the wintertime. And got a light breeze, and boy, it's just a really nice day to be outside. So I hope you get to spend some time outside where you are, and I hope the weather's nice there too. So, what I'm talking about is trading your life, trading your time for a paycheck. And that's the world we live in today, that most all of us, that's how we grow up, is we trade our time, a 9-to-5 job, for a paycheck at the end of the week. And you get your first job, and I'm just going to make up some numbers here so it just kind of makes sense. Let's say you get your first job and you make $10 an hour. Well, in your head, you're saying, if I work at my job and I do well, pretty soon I'll make $11 an hour, and then I'll make $12 an hour. And then maybe, I'll get a promotion to a higher position. But all that time, you're still trading your time for that paycheck, and you're putting your life on hold. And that just stinks, really, when you think about it. And so, I share with people in my life, and that's why I'm sharing it with you now here today, is you need to get out of that. And well, people always say, well, Rob, what can I do? I got to have money to pay the bills and things. What do you do besides have a job? And when we have our discussions in that, they'll frequently say, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't know anything about starting a business, and I certainly don't know anything about running a business. So what can I do? And the thing that you want to think about is, if you want to get out of that 9-to-5 and you don't feel like you have the skill set to be an entrepreneur, you're not an Elon Musk or a Steve Jobs or somebody like that, and I mean, be honest, most of us aren't, is you just have to think about how you can increase your value. And you never know either unless you give something a try. I've shared before in the past, but I mean, my grandfather worked in a furniture factory, and he had an 8th grade education because, I mean, he was born in like 1903, 1904. And back in that day, World War I era, the Depression and that, boys in particular didn't go on to high school. When they got to 8th grade, they were done. So, I mean, he had an 8th grade education. He worked in a furniture factory, but he started his business on the side. And he was a Wisconsin farmer down in the Chicago area of Illinois. And he started his outdoor business. And it was, just a hobby while he was doing his job, and it grew and grew and grew. And then when he retired from the furniture factory, his hobby became a full-time business, and it actually became a very successful business. And he certainly didn't know anything about running a business or that. So that's the kind of thing that you want to be thinking about. But what it boils down to is, if you want to get out of a 9-to-5 job where you trade your time, you trade your life for a paycheck, is you've got to increase your personal value. And the sad reality is, most people, when they get out of school, they never read anything else. They never expand their knowledge. Some people, you might have, if you got a payback program where you work, some companies will, if you take classes, they'll reimburse you if you get like an A or a B in the class kind of thing. But most people, when they get out of school and they start working, it's like their brains are turned off and they don't learn anything more after that. And you want to be learning stuff every day. You want to be increasing your value so that you become skilled at whatever it is that excites you, whatever it is that you're passionate about. And an example of that is, like, okay, here we go. Like Caitlin Clark and what's her name? Angel Reese in the WNBA. I wouldn't know anything about the WNBA if it wasn't for those two and their what's a nice word to say? They're battling each other or whatever. But Caitlin Clark has increased her value. She's become skilled and very good at the thing that she's truly passionate about. And you don't have to be a basketball player. And Taylor Swift in music, she's a billionaire now because she's increased her value. She's not earning a paycheck. You don't become a billionaire by getting a paycheck. You become wealthy like that because you've increased your value. So be thinking about the things that excite you and motivate you and increase your value. Read books, take classes. I mean, the stuff, a lot of colleges now, you can take classes for free, and that'll increase your knowledge, which will increase your value. And then practice at something. If you like to golf, you're not going to become a professional golfer necessarily. You're not going to become a professional basketball player. You may not become a professional musician like a Taylor Swift or somebody, but you can somehow incorporate that into what you can make a career out of. Turn your hobby into a business. Maybe you can instruct people, be like a tutor. You can, if you like golf, you can work in the pro shop and you can give lessons or things, whatever. And I mean, you got to be a pro at it or that, but I'm hopefully just trying to give you some ideas of things that you can think of so that you can get out of that traditional job, that 9 to 5, trading your time, because, the theory is that you're somehow going to retire and then relax and have fun. And, most people, by then you're old and you're sick and you're frail and you don't really have the money necessary to do what you want to do, or you don't even live that long after you get to retirement age or whatever. And why waste your 20s and your 30s and your 40s doing something that is getting somebody else wealthy and rich? And jeepers, I don't know why there's so much traffic on our road today. We live in the middle of no man's land. Our road doesn't go anywhere. Maybe there's some construction or something and they're using our road for a bypass. So, quit trading your time and quit trading your life, because that's what's really important. You can't make more time. You can't make more life. You can always make more money doing something. And think about how you can incorporate your hobby, become a Caitlin Clark, become a Taylor Swift, become an Elon Musk, become my grandpa, enjoying, doing your own thing, your hobby into a business. And you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to just, give up your job and walk away and do something if you're uncomfortable with that. But think about how a lot of people have jobs on the side where they start their hobbies and, the $100 startup kind of thing. And you find something that you're passionate about, something that you really enjoy. And the key is to get better at it. The key is to add value to yourself so that people are willing to pay you for your knowledge and your information. And that's the kind of thing that I want you to be thinking about, because it's all about your freedom. It's all about having fun in life, right? Freedom, you betcha. Go out and find what you're passionate about and have some fun.